get an instant kill on the red. Here. Here.
Released in 1960, Spartacus looked like a traditional sword-and-sandal epic. Behind the spectacle, it became one of the most dangerous, political, and rebellious productions Hollywood had ever attempted. Fact 1. The film was a direct act of defiance. Spartacus was never meant to be just entertainment. It was conceived as a challenge to Hollywood's power structure. At the time, the industry was ruled by fear. The blacklist had silenced writers, actors, and directors. Careers were destroyed quietly. Dalton Trumbo was one of the most famous victims. He was forced to write under fake names. Credit was denied publicly. Kirk Douglas knew this injustice personally. He believed it had gone on long enough. Hiring Trumbo was a deliberate risk. Giving him screen credit was revolutionary. Studios warned Douglas against it. Executives feared backlash. Political consequences were real. Douglas refused to back down. The decision changed Hollywood forever. The blacklist began to collapse publicly. Spartacus became a symbol of resistance. Courage replaced fear on screen and behind it. Fact 2. Kirk Douglas took control of the entire production.
I made myself a promise, Grixis. I swore that if I ever got out of this place, I'd die before I'd watch two men fight to the death again.
Kirk Douglas was more than the star. He was the driving force behind the film. Douglas also served as producer. He fought constantly with the studio. Budget overruns became common. Schedules stretched endlessly. Douglas refused to compromise the story. He clashed with directors repeatedly. Original director Anthony Mann was fired early. Douglas wanted a stronger vision. He personally chose Stanley Kubrick as replacement. Kubrick was young and untested at that scale. Their relationship was tense from the start. Creative battles were constant. Douglas protected the film's core message. Power struggles played out daily. Ego and ambition collided openly. Control was never shared easily. The tension shaped the film's intensity. Every scene carries that struggle. Authority is a theme both on screen and off. Fact 3. Stanley Kubrick inherited a film he couldn't fully control. Stanley Kubrick did not originate Spartacus. He stepped into a production already underway. Many creative decisions were locked in. Kubrick disliked working under limitation. He preferred total control. On Spartacus, he had almost none. Douglas overruled him frequently. The studio imposed constraints. Kubrick focused on visual precision instead. Composition became his weapon. Camera movement was meticulously planned. Violence was framed carefully. Emotion was controlled through structure. Kubrick avoided sentimentality. He pushed realism wherever possible. Some scenes frustrated him deeply. He later distanced himself from the film. Despite this, his style is unmistakable. The battle sequences carry his signature. Discipline defines the imagery. Order fights chaos throughout the film. Kubrick's tension mirrors Spartacus himself. Fact 4. I am Spartacus was a political statement.
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
The famous I am Spartacus scene was more than dramatic cinema. It was a direct political act. The moment symbolized collective resistance. At the time, Hollywood was still ruled by fear. Naming names had destroyed lives. Silence had become survival. In the scene, no one stays silent. Each man chooses solidarity over safety. That choice mirrored the blacklist struggle. Dalton Trumbo wrote the scene deliberately. He knew exactly what it meant. Audiences felt the power immediately. Censors were uneasy. Studio executives were nervous. The scene challenged authority openly. It reframed heroism as unity. Individual survival was rejected. Sacrifice became noble. The moment redefined courage in Hollywood. It remains one of cinema's most defiant scenes. Fact 5. The film nearly collapsed under its own scale. Spartacus was massive beyond planning. Thousands of extras were used repeatedly. Large battle scenes took weeks to film. Coordination was chaotic. Communication broke down often. Costumes were heavy and uncomfortable. Heat exhaustion was common. Horses were difficult to manage. Equipment failures delayed production. Budgets ballooned rapidly. The studio grew increasingly alarmed. Schedules slipped constantly. Crew members worked brutal hours. Fatigue affected performance. Safety concerns were frequent. Kubrick pushed for precision anyway. Retakes were demanding. Every delay increased tension. The film felt out of control at times. Its scale nearly destroyed it. Fact 6. Censorship fought the film at every turn.
It's Verinia.
Yes, I remember. You're the woman of Spartacus?
I'm his wife.
This is his child?
Yes.
Where is Spartacus?
Dead.
The film faced intense censorship pressure. Violence was considered excessive. Brutality was scrutinized frame by frame. Slave suffering disturbed censors deeply. Political themes raised red flags. Authority figures were portrayed cruelly. Rebellion was treated sympathetically. This made studios nervous. Cuts were demanded repeatedly. Kubrick resisted where possible. Douglas fought the rest. Compromises were tense. Some scenes were shortened. Others were removed entirely. The film's edge was dulled temporarily. Years later, lost footage was restored. The original intent became clearer. The uncensored version felt harsher. Power dynamics became unmistakable. The film's rebellion resurfaced fully. Fact 7. Laurence Olivier and Charles Laughton clashed openly.
Former wife of Lucius Caius Marius. His recent execution touched us all so deeply.
The set was filled with strong personalities. Laurence Olivier commanded authority. Charles Laughton brought theatrical weight. Their styles conflicted immediately. Olivier favored restraint. Laughton leaned into excess. Tension grew between them. Dialogue rehearsals became battlegrounds. Kubrick tried to manage egos. Douglas often intervened. Scenes crackled with real hostility. Power struggles bled into performances. Roman authority felt authentic. Contempt felt real. The rivalry elevated the film. Characters felt dangerous and unpredictable. Control was always contested. Respect was never guaranteed. The clash mirrored the story's themes. Authority and ego collided constantly. The tension strengthened the final result. Fact 8. Violence was meant to feel exhausting. Kubrick avoided heroic violence. Fights were brutal and messy. Death came quickly and without glory. Battle scenes emphasized chaos. Soldiers fell without ceremony. Victory felt hollow. Spartacus's rebellion was costly. Bloodshed offered no reward. The camera lingered on aftermath. Bodies remained on screen. Silence followed clashes. Music did not celebrate combat. Violence drained energy rather than inspired it. This was intentional. Kubrick wanted war to feel punishing. Audiences were unsettled. Expectations of triumph were denied. Suffering was emphasized over spectacle. Freedom came at unbearable cost. The film refused to romanticize rebellion. Fact 9. Dalton Trumbo's name changed Hollywood.
Spartacus put me down and...
When Spartacus was released, something unprecedented happened. Dalton Trumbo's name appeared on screen. He was openly credited as screenwriter. For years, he had been blacklisted. His work survived under pseudonyms. Credit had been denied deliberately. Kirk Douglas insisted on restoring his name. Studios feared backlash. Politicians warned of consequences. The decision went public anyway. Audiences noticed immediately. The industry could no longer pretend. Trumbo's credit broke the illusion of silence. Other blacklisted artists followed. Careers slowly resurfaced. Fear lost its grip. Hollywood's moral authority shifted. Courage replaced compliance. The blacklist began to collapse openly. One name changed everything. The risk reshaped the industry. Fact 10. Kubrick later disowned the film. Stanley Kubrick rarely spoke proudly of Spartacus. He considered it compromised. Too many decisions were out of his control. Douglas overruled him often. The studio imposed restrictions. Kubrick hated interference. He believed true authorship requires authority. On Spartacus, he lacked it. Despite this, his fingerprints remain. Visual discipline defines the battles. Order clashes with chaos repeatedly. Emotion is restrained. Violence is unsentimental. Kubrick's worldview is visible. He later distanced himself publicly. He excluded the film from retrospectives. Yet critics reassessed it differently. They recognized Kubrick's influence. The film became essential to his evolution. Constraint shaped his future perfectionism. Spartacus taught him what to avoid. It forged his uncompromising philosophy. Fact 11. The ending was designed to hurt.
Spartacus. You are he, aren't you?
The ending of Spartacus refuses comfort. Victory is denied completely. Rebellion does not succeed. Spartacus is not saved. His death is inevitable. The camera does not soften it. Punishment is public and cruel. Silence dominates the final moments. Love offers no escape. Family becomes collateral damage. The cost of resistance is absolute. This shocked audiences. Heroic expectations were shattered. Hollywood rarely ended this way. Tragedy replaces triumph. Freedom becomes symbolic, not literal. Hope survives only in memory. The ending lingers painfully. It forces reflection rather than applause. The pain was intentional. The film demands consequence. Fact 12. Rome was the true villain.
What sort of a man is this leader of the slaves?
I don't know. I think they called him Spartacus.
Rome is not just a setting, it functions as an ideology. Power is institutional, not personal. Authority is faceless and absolute. Cruelty is bureaucratic. Violence is normalized. Order is enforced ruthlessly. Individual life holds little value. Even Roman leaders feel trapped. Politics outweigh humanity. The system consumes everyone. Spartacus challenges structure itself. That makes him dangerous. Rome cannot tolerate disruption. Mercy threatens stability. The film frames empire as machine. No single villain can be blamed. Oppression is systemic. That message felt radical. The film criticizes power itself. Rome represents permanence without compassion. Fact 13. The film redefined the epic genre. Before Spartacus, epics glorified conquest. Heroes triumphed visibly. Power was celebrated. Spartacus reversed this tradition. Suffering took center stage. Victory became meaningless. Scale served tragedy. The epic became personal. Politics entered spectacle. Violence carried moral weight. Authority was questioned openly. Slaves became protagonists. Empires became villains. The genre matured overnight. Future epics followed suit. Complexity replaced simplicity. Moral ambiguity became acceptable. Audiences were challenged intellectually. The film expanded what epics could say. Size no longer guaranteed glory. Meaning mattered more than spectacle. Spartacus changed expectations permanently. Fact 14. The battle scenes were logistical nightmares. The battle scenes pushed production to the brink. Thousands of extras were deployed simultaneously. Many were real soldiers borrowed from the Spanish army. Choreography had to be taught quickly. Communication across the battlefield was limited. Mistakes caused delays instantly. Horses panicked unexpectedly. Weapons broke or went missing. Dust and heat reduced visibility. Extras collapsed from exhaustion. Medical teams stayed on standby. Kubrick demanded precision anyway. Camera placement had to be exact. Missed cues forced complete resets. Days were lost to minor errors. Tempers flared under pressure. Order constantly fought chaos. The scale overwhelmed planning. Control was never absolute. The chaos shows on screen. That realism became part of the film's power. Fact 15. Slavery was shown without romanticism. Spartacus refuses to soften slavery. Enslavement is brutal and degrading. Bodies are treated as property. Punishment is casual and cruel. Dignity is stripped away systematically. Violence is normalized. Survival becomes the only goal. The film avoids sentimental framing. There is no beauty in suffering. Slaves are not idealized heroes. Fear shapes every decision. Trust is fragile. Hope feels dangerous. Training scenes emphasize dehumanization. Entertainment is built on pain. Power is enforced physically. Spartacus's rebellion grows from desperation. Freedom is not abstract. It is physical and immediate. The film forces confrontation. Comfort is deliberately denied. Fact 16. Kubrick's visual control emerged despite limits. Even under restriction, Kubrick asserted visual authority. Composition became his primary tool. Frames are rigid and symmetrical. Order dominates Roman scenes. Slave camps feel chaotic and cramped. Power is communicated through space. Authority towers over bodies. Crowds are arranged with precision. Individuals are visually minimized. Violence is observed, not celebrated. The camera rarely empathizes emotionally. Distance creates coldness. Control becomes thematic. Kubrick's future style is visible here. Discipline fights disorder constantly. The visual language tells its own story. Words become secondary. Meaning emerges through structure. Constraint sharpened Kubrick's instincts. Limitation forced innovation. His evolution is unmistakable. Fact 17. The film angered both sides politically. Spartacus pleased no extremists. Conservatives saw it as dangerous. Liberals saw it as incomplete. Anti-communists feared its message. Activists felt it didn't go far enough. Authority was criticized openly. Rebellion was framed sympathetically. Power structures were questioned. This made studios uneasy. Politicians took notice. The film sparked public debate. Editorials argued over its intent. Allegory became unavoidable. Viewers projected modern struggles onto ancient Rome. The story felt contemporary. That relevance was intentional. Trumbo's writing carried subtext. Douglas supported the risk. Neutrality was impossible. The film demanded a reaction. Silence was not an option. Fact 18. Spartacus became a symbol, not a character. By the end, Spartacus transcends individuality. He becomes an idea. His name represents resistance. Identity dissolves into meaning. The man is destroyed. The symbol survives. Others carry his legacy. Memory becomes power. Rome wins physically. Spartacus wins philosophically. Authority kills bodies, not ideas. This terrified censors. Symbols are harder to control. The film emphasizes legacy over survival. Children represent continuity. Freedom lives in future generations. Victory is reframed quietly. Hope becomes abstract. The film ends on thought, not action. Spartacus no longer needs to speak. His existence echoes forward. The legend replaces the man. That transformation defines the ending. Fact 19. The film changed who Hollywood listened to. After Spartacus, power in Hollywood subtly shifted. Stars proved they could challenge studios. Producers no longer held absolute control. Political silence became harder to enforce. Writers demanded recognition. Actors questioned authority. Risk became acceptable again. Fear lost some of its grip. Speaking out no longer guaranteed exile. Trumbo's credits set precedent. Other blacklisted artists followed. Studios adapted reluctantly. Control became negotiated rather than imposed. Creative voices gained leverage. Moral courage became marketable. The industry remembered its conscience briefly. Not everyone approved of the change, but the door had opened. Hollywood could not fully close it again. Spartacus proved Defiance could succeed. That lesson echoed beyond cinema. Fact 20. Why Spartacus still feels dangerous. Spartacus has never become comfortable viewing. Its themes remain confrontational. Authority is never softened. Power is always questioned. Violence carries consequence. Rebellion is costly. Freedom demands sacrifice. The film offers no easy victory. Modern audiences still feel challenged. The politics remain relevant. Systems still resemble Rome. Oppression still hides behind order. The story refuses nostalgia. It asks uncomfortable questions. Who holds power matters. Who obeys matters more. The film does not reassure. It demands reflection. That demand keeps it alive. Spartacus endures because it still provokes, and because it still dares to speak.